Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Just Bulldogs podcast. Back for round one of the 2025 season. Very excited to get rugby league back on our TVs with Bulldogs' first game of the season kicking off on Saturday afternoon at 5:30 p.m. Down at Netstrata Jubilee Stadium, the home of the St. George Dragons. I'll quickly run over that Dragons team list. They have Clint Gutherson, their captain at fullback. Matthew Fagai and Christian Tuipulotu on the wings, Moses Hooley and Valentine Holmes in the centres, Carl Flanagan, ex-Bulldog at 5'8", with Lachlan Elias at halfback, Toby Catchman and Emre Gula in the front row, with Damien Cook, ex-Bulldog, starting at hooker, Luciano Leilua and Jaden Sewer in the back rows, Jack DeBellin at lock, Jacob Little, Ryan Catchman, ex-Bulldog, Raymond Fatala Mariner and Hamish Stewart on the bench, and their extended Dylan Egan, Tyrell Sloan, Larkin King Togia, Loco Pacifica Tonga, and Tom Eisenhuth. Running through our team list. If you checked out the team list Tuesday podcast, you would have already heard it, but I'll run through it once again. At fullback, we have Connor Tracy, the wingers, Blake Wilson, and Marcelo Montoya returning for his first game back at the Bulldogs. In the centres, Bronson Cherry and our captain, Stephen Crichton. Matt Burton at 5'8", with Toby Sexton at halfback. The front rowers, Sam Hughes and Max King. Reid Marnie starts at dummy half. The back rowers are Jacob Preston and Viliami Kikau. Kurt Mann packing in at lock. Our bench, Bailey Hayward, new Bulldog, Sitili Tupanua, his first game in the blue and white. Harry Hayes and Jamin Semin. And the extended Blake Taff, Curtis Moran, Daniel Saluka Fafita, Luke Smith, and Ratu Rinakama. Very excited to have Bulldogs back on the TV. Definitely need to start off this season on a high. We done well against this Dragons team last year with two pretty strong wins. Round 12, we won 44-12, and round 23, 28 points to 10. So we have a good record against them recently, but this is an overhauled Dragon side. A few changes to their side with the losses of their halfback Ben Hunt and their strike weapon Zach Lomax, but a very differently structured team this season with the new recruits Clint Gutherson, Valentine Holmes, Lachlan Elias at halfback, and Damien Cook in the dummy half. So definitely a different Broncos side than we're used to seeing in the past few years, a bit more seniority in the side. Some players that have played some pretty high-level football. Damien Cook, a long-serving dummy half for the New South Wales Blues. Valentine Holmes has played a lot of games for the Maroons. I expect he'll still be pushing for a spot in that side. And Clint Gutherson, a handful of games in the Rep Arena as well. But definitely a pretty talented side, just with some young halves that we have to wait and see how they're going to develop. But our Bulldog side, getting into them, not much changed from the end of last season. The only real changes are Marcelo Montoya and Sitili Tupanua. Josh Curran out of this game due to a one-match suspension, so we expect to see him in round two. We'll be curious to see who they drop from the side. For him, I was happily surprised to see Harry Hayes on the bench in this one. I think he's a similar player to Sitili Tupanua, an edge back rower that does a good job covering the middle. I thought Curtis Moran's a bit hard done by to not make this side. I think he's our impact forward, can bring a lot of energy off the bench. I'm assuming Sitili Tupanua will be looking to play that role. But as we've seen last year, Bulldogs are a defensive first side, defend throughout majority of the game and then strike when the other team can't keep up. So I expect that to be quite similar. But with a full preseason of Matt Burton and Toby Sexton being partnered together, I expect our attack to click a lot earlier this year. Last year, we still had Drew Hutchison coming to the side. Matt Burton and Drew Hutchison started the year. And Toby Sexton had to fight his way back up into the top grade. This year, there's no questions about it. Matt Burton's our 5'8", and Toby Sexton's our halfback. So it'll be very good for them that they've had the whole preseason together, really honing that connection and getting both of their edges ready to go. The left side of Matt Burton, Viliami Kikau, Bronson Cherry, and I expect Marcelo Montoya to be that left winger. I expect pretty big things from them. Viliami Kikau and Bronson Cherries are strike weapons down that left edge, and then Toby Sexton on the right side. with Jacob Preston, Stephen Crichton, and Blake Wilson. Definitely some star-studded players on both sides of the field. My player that I'm expecting to have the biggest improvement this year, though he has been very good the past 2 years, but Jacob Preston, after a very good rookie season, he had another good season last year, but he got smashed with some injuries, so definitely took away some of the potential that could have been. I expect him to really come into this season firing, showing what he can do, and pushing why he should be part of the New South Wales squad at some point this year, otherwise in the very near future. So I'm expecting very big things from Jacob Preston this year and Toby Sexton to really unlock his game, potential, especially inside the opposition's 20. He's got a very good line that he likes to run close to the opposition's try line, but he also has very good hands that he can ball play with his outside back. So expecting very good things from Jacob Preston this year. Working on that combination with Toby Sexton, but with very good players outside him, with our captain, Stephen Crichton, down that right edge. So I think both sides of the field should be getting sparking some pretty exciting attack, especially in the early parts of the season. Other teams are still working on combinations. We have our positions set with not too many changes to affect too much. The only question marks on this side are the same question marks that we had last season. We're running a small forward pack as we have the past, as we did last year. Max King and Sam Hughes starting up front. Sam Hughes a big body, but both of them just workhorses, get through plenty of work, but very good defensively, but not the biggest front rowers in the comp. And then on the bench, we still don't have the most size. Tatili Tupanua has played majority of his career in the back row. Harry Hayes been an outside back and a back rower coming through the ranks, and Jamin Salmon grew up as a half, as well as Bailey Hayward, also a half coming through the grades. So not the biggest bench, but Tilly Tupanua and Harry Hayes can definitely hold their own. Jamin Salmon, a good defender, and Bailey Hayward also does very well for his size. Kurtman starting in the lock jersey, an undersized lock, but played very good football last year. Looked good in the trials, so expect big things from him. So as long as we can slow down the bigger front row packs, which isn't what we're facing up against this week, so I definitely think we can get over the top of this Dragon side, but that'll be the question mark going forward this year. But coming into round one, I definitely think we should be able to get the upper hand. At the start of the game, going up against Toby Catchman and Emre Gula, definitely not the biggest front rowers, so I think we can get the upper hand early and not too much impact coming off the bench for this Dragon side. I think we should be able to get the upper hand early, take control of this game, and put some points onto the board. I know both teams will be looking to start the season off strong, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. I know that the Bulldogs will be able to hold this Dragon side down as long as they turn up to play, and then we could definitely be putting some points onto the board in the second half. So I expect the first 30 minutes or so, the Bulldogs to really get into the grind and then take advantage of the opportunities when they come. But the second half is when we can really start to throw the football around. Matt Burton and Toby Sexton getting both sides of the field going. Hopefully we can see Matt Burton playing both sides of the field as we did in parts last year. But as long as the outside backs are getting good service and getting good opportunities, that's what I'll be looking out for. So my spotlight player in this game will be our right side second rower, Jacob Preston. I think he's in for a huge game this season. He needs some help from the guys around him. He needs Toby Sexton to really stand up and take control of that right edge attack. But I think Jacob Preston is going to be up for a massive one. I believe Kyle Flanagan's playing as their left side half. So Jacob Preston can, if he can get put in a position to be one-on-one with Kyle Flanagan, I definitely think he'll be able to do some damage there. So Jacob Preston will be my spotlight player of the game in this one. The matchups that I'm most excited for, Stephen Crichton at right center and Valentine Holmes playing left center for the Dragons. That's a heavyweight matchup between two centers that have played some pretty high-level football. So that'll be a very good one there. Valentine Holmes, known for his athleticism and attacking prowess. Stephen Crichton, very good with the ball, but a lockdown center in defense. I definitely think that's a good matchup for us. He should be able to limit Valentine Holmes with the ball in hand and then hopefully do some damage when we do get chances going down into their attacking end. Moses Sully, a very damaging ball runner, a solid defender as well. So that will be another good matchup in the centers on the opposite side of the field. Our left center Bronson Cherry going up against their right center Moses Sully. Two trucks, both run the ball very, very hard. Bronson Cherry a little bit more silky with the ball in hand. Moses Sully, a very strong ball runner. So that will be another big matchup there. And then the dummy halves as well. Reed Marnie and Damien Cook. Reed Marnie, more of a passer, giving good service. Damien Cook, more of a ball runner. I don't think Damien Cook will spend too much time in the 9 position with Jacob Little on the bench. I think Damien Cook will rotate with Little and then potentially fill in some time in the lock spot. So they'll have a very good ball handler in that 13 role in the later stages of the game. And then in their back rows, they have some pretty good players as well. Luciano Leilua, I believe he's playing on the left edge, a bit more of a ball handler in that second row spot, trying to link up with these outside men. So you can't give him too much space. And then Jaden Sewer, a good line runner. So Matt Burton will be tasked with the role of stopping Jaden Sewer going down that Dragons right side attacking side. So he'll be in for a big day there, but I definitely think he's up for it. Very, very excited for this round 1 clash. I do think we should come away with a win. We're going into the game as pretty strong favorites, $1.55 to the Dragons, $2.54. So I expect us to start our season on a high, grab the 2 points for round 1 in 2025, and start our season off on the right foot. So definitely excited for this game to kick off on Saturday afternoon at 5:30. If you want to I'll pull my predictions out in a moment, but I also will be putting up some competitions on the Just Bulldogs Instagram page. If you can guess the final score, I'll be sending out some stickers. So make sure to check out at Just Bulldogs on Instagram. There'll be a post up there for your score predictions. And I'll have some Just Bulldogs stickers and stuff ready to send out for anybody that can correctly predict the score in this game. But my prediction for this one will be Bulldogs coming away with a win. I think defense is going to be the main focus in this game for both sides. I think it'll be a low scorer for the first 30 minutes, potentially for the first half, but then the second half, Bulldogs managed to put some points on the board. So I think the final score will be Bulldogs 24, St. George Dragons 12. They'll manage to get a couple on the board, but in the end, Bulldogs being too strong for this Dragons side. But that'll do for this one. My spotlight player, Jacob Preston, score prediction 24 points to 12. Bulldogs coming away with a win. If you want more content, make sure to check out at JustBulldogs_ on Instagram. But I appreciate everyone for listening, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.